So good morning to you once again. Thank you so much for making time to join us this Good Friday edition of the AM show. And our assistant editor Samuel Kojibrace has joined me. It's good to have you. How are you doing?
I'm well, but I wish you brought that singing on the set. It was really sweet.
Why did Benjamin hand over to you?
No, not really. But I mean, you have a sweet voice.
Thank you.
Do you sing in church?
Yes, I do.
Oh, you do?
Oh, yes, I do.
But treat our viewers to
Don't worry. When we wrap up the show, I'll do it.
Oh, no. I want
Good
to
Friday, Good Friday edition. Okay, so what song will I sing for?
You Are My Sunshine, something. Oh, that is reserved for...
that. Samuel, you are as mischievous as Benjamin. Anyway, as usual on holidays, we don't have the papers, but we do have the headlines online. So we'll get onto our online portals, myjoyonline.com. We'll start with myjoyonline.com. A couple of stories there that definitely will interest you. There's one there about the IMF, Samuel, and this is from the chief of the fund, saying she told China to speed up work on debt restructuring for Ghana and others. Wow. And if you may recall, when Benjamin Akakpo spoke to her, interviewed her, she was quite confident about the fund's readiness to support Ghana. And it appears that there have been a couple of issues that have delayed that seeming readiness, you know, which indicated some sort of urgency on the part of the fund in terms of releasing its support. But let's bring you details of that story on myjoyonline.com.
Yeah. So the details are that the International Monetary Fund chief, Kristalina Georgieva, said she told China's new top economic official, League One, they must accelerate work to reach debt restructuring agreement for countries like Zambia, Ghana, and Ethiopia. Georgieva, who met with Lee and other top Chinese officials during a visit to Ghana last month.
To China?
So, yeah, he said visit to China, okay. Last month, said on Thursday she found Lee very approachable and pragmatic, which means that maybe she was okay.
You know, our finance minister has been there trying to speak
and
to
it was
the
last
officials.
Month, so maybe it was like the same meeting she's talking about, isn't it?
Probably.
And that, and she says, the truth is, and I was very straightforward on that, it takes far too long for that debt resolution. She told an event hosted by Meridian House and Politico. Yes, China has multiple institutions that deal with that. That makes it complicated domestically, but they have to speed up their participation. So, yeah.
Let's see how this goes. I mean, she's the chief of the fund, but again, China is a sovereign state. They decide what to do. Make the decision on their own. So hopefully the word she's put in will help us to, you know, that we've postponed our hopeful dates of getting the agreement, you know, from November to, we said March, now we are in April.
And some are even saying May.
Yeah, so
people like former Finance Minister Seth Terkper believes that from what he knows and what his experiences, we may get it by end May. So let's see. Maybe that will be a realistic date, really, because we're in April, right?
And we've already crossed one leg, which is the approval of those revenue measures that government really needed badly. There's some pushback though. Let's see how that will pan out. But until then, that's the latest update we have on the IMF.
But once it's a precondition to securing this IMF deal, you don't expect anything like government going back on this. Maybe they can only go back when the fund has given us the board level agreement, which of course you expect that.
And that's highly impossible, I think.
Oh, really?
I think.
Once you get the fund, I mean, you can go back to the fund and tell them, well, once we have it, we've been able to sanitize our, what we're doing. And so we think that some of these bills should be, you know, repealed so that we can then go ahead and have that room.
But then again, you know, government said the fund support was for balance of payment support, and did indicate that it was going to find ways of generating more revenue to support other aspects of the economy. And that's why I'm saying I think it's highly impossible the government will go back on this decision or will say that we're going to reverse that trend. But there are some other stories on my joyonline.com. Sorry, you wanted to say something?
Yeah, I want to say that, well, if the people who you are governing say that, well, because of these taxes, we are not able to produce more, so we can pay more. I mean, the government can only listen and say that since we want to ensure that we create that conducive environment for businesses to thrive, let's look at it. Because businesses are complaining that you are boxing us too much. We are told the ports are becoming empty because people are finding our port not to be attractive. So something should happen. Yes, even though we want to create spaces for us to generate revenue, but you don't want to also cripple the economy by crippling businesses.
Right. Let's see how it turns out. Only time will tell. And once again, when you said listen, I mean, my mind just went back about 2 or 3 years, looking at all the times when citizens had tried to push back. And whether or not government listened, well, that's for you to make your judgment on your own. But there are some other stories on my joyonline.com, and this one, Brace, is quite disturbing. 2 community police assistants assaulted over alleged fraud. And that is a really disturbing video there. So those are snapshots of that video where you see people holding clubs. Somebody appears to be throwing something at the officers who've been stripped, literally, almost naked. And Brace, the reason this disturbs me a lot is because just recently, we got to know about what happened some time back in the Western region where these galamseyers, allegedly now one says he's an informant, well, but what the police refers to them is that they are a gang. The police refers to them as a gang. And that video disturbed me a lot. And I remember speaking to Elizabeth Varr, who's done a lot of work in the galamsey, in that part of the country. And this is what she said. I feel ashamed, I feel sad. And she was concerned about what this meant as a signal for the police, which is a representative of the state. Now, today, we are seeing 2 community police assistants. This is in the Ashanti region. Well, they've been beaten to pulp for allegedly, we'll scroll up so that you see the story, for allegedly defrauding some persons. Let's scroll up so that we can see details of that story. The victims, Oreku 26 and Exhibit 33, have been hospitalized at the Konfanoti Teaching Hospital and the Drabing Hospital respectively. In a viral video, the attackers, numbering about 10, are seen assaulting the 2 in different locations. 2 of the attackers wielded clubs which were used to hit the head of one of the victims, and I must apologize for the rather disturbing details of the story. And in a separate video, some persons believed to be the same people captured in the other video are captured attacking the other victim. Now, it took the intervention of some residents to save one of the victims from being hit with a stone. The victim is later captured as he bled from the mouth and nose. The community police assistants are alleged to have taken an amount of 1,000 cedis from the attackers with the intention of helping them secure bail for a friend in custody. So then again, I ask myself, another allegation of extortion or of bribery against the police service. So these are community police assistants, so they're part of the police service. And Brace, I don't know, but I am, and I share in Elizabeth Varr's concerns, if the representative of the state is treated this way, and it is on the back of an allegation of some form of wrongdoing, where are we going?
Yeah, so they are treated that way because of those allegations, right? I'm not sure a very upright police officer will be treated the way that the guys have treated the people. So, building on from the galamsey video we saw, I mean, for those of us who have grown up in areas where galamsey are, these things are not, they are not surprising, because we live to see them. You know, the thing is that the officers there do, I mean, during the Galam stop, you had these allegations of, you know, officers extorting money from galamseyers, right? They come to a site and then they can extort a site for 30, 40, 50,000 Ghana cedis just so you can be allowed to mine. So if these guys had lived their lives as we expect of them as officers of the public, then of course nobody can lay a hand on you like that. I mean, can someone treat Damper in this way?
But obviously, I mean, obviously they won't. Once it gets to that level, then it's problematic. But you see, when we allow these things to fester, and I am not in any way making excuses for the police, but we cannot encourage this. And you know, it's almost like the mob justice debate.
Also mob justice. Yeah, this is one of it.
Yes, it's almost like the mob justice debate. And some say, oh, but you know, you've never been robbed before. You don't know what it feels like to be robbed before. But I know of a gentleman who was saved by, it was such a wrong allegation. I know of 3 young boys who were killed around the Wejak Bawe area, and this was about 19 years ago. And they were, it was a young girl who said, thieves. And before they could say Jack, without people even verifying, they just attacked these boys and killed them painfully. Then an old man in the area comes and says, oh, these boys, I know them. They're not robbers. We sit with them, you know, and it happens. And so look.
Now, as for mob justice, it's not something we should encourage at all. This one, they even, one of the guys, they attacked him in a place that looked like his home, you know. So, I mean, it's something that we shouldn't encourage. We should discourage it, because there's this woman I know whose son, is not her biological son, but someone she regards as a son, was almost lynched for the wrongful reasons. He was only saved by someone who said, no, it can't be him. So as for mob justice, it's something we need to discourage.
Exactly.
Once we want to discourage it, we should also, like, these guys are police officers, we should try to tell them or educate them to say that it's about time you live up to the uniform you wear.
Exactly.
You represent the state. You are a law enforcement officer. Ensure you enforce the law the way it has to.
And have some integrity.
Exactly. That's police. What's their motto? Service with integrity. It has to be lived. You know, if you expose, because these guys, per the story, they are believed to be drug abusers, isn't it? And you meddle with drug abusers, and they are alleging that you took their money to force. I mean, why should you even stoop so low? So yeah, I mean, mob justice is so not fair. We have to discourage it. I've seen people who have been killed through some of these instances because they said they were thieves. And we've come to know that some of them were innocent, because it can happen to me. If someone does not know me, and maybe it's in the night, someone says, Julo, and I run. I mean, there was a story that someone ran because he also heard a shout. And he ran. They thought it was him. Apparently it wasn't. But just because he heard it, and he heard some footsteps coming towards him, he had to run for his life, but he was taken to be the thief. He wasn't. So as for mob justice, we have to educate ourselves that we need to stop it. We don't need to encourage it. But once we do that, we should. I mean, this is a different case, I think. And these are public, police officers.
Yes.
We should let them know that, look, your motto is service with integrity. Can you live up to it? At least try.
And Brace, for me, the other question is, what is given these young men the confidence to do this to law enforcement officials, regardless the reason, because it's becoming a trend and people are being emboldened over time. It's something that as a society we should ask ourselves, why are people getting the confidence to attack officers?
How do you call it? When you get to know me too much. So
familiarity.
Exactly. Look, there's this officer in my hometown, Chwasam. He's a CID. Fantastic young man. I'm not sure you can do what you did to these guys to the guy. Yeah? Even though he's your friend, but when it comes to ensuring that the right things are done, he would ensure they are done. So I think that the officers should look at how they become too familiar with certain class of people. Yeah? So that these things don't happen. But as for mob justice, we should discourage it, because we can end up killing innocent souls.
Oh, we have done that so many times, unfortunately. We have done that so many times. And Grace, it's sad.
But the
Because you
Galamsey
see-
video, the Galamsey, I think the police need to investigate it so well, such that if it has certain linkages to other people, we can deal with it. Because, look, if you anyway.
Well, so there's some other stories. Ghana Ports experiencing decline in traffic. We brought you that. ECG cuts power to Amansia South DCE's home in revenue mobilization drive. And that story was on the AM News. And it's very interesting. So the regional director says that the DCE is actually his friend. But says, look, AJ, put friendship aside. Put friendship aside. And this is yielding so much results. The Ghana Water Company Limited has picked a queue, and they've also started visiting facilities and companies. And but my question: why have we allowed these things for so long? Well, the good news is that you've seen the light. You're making a difference. Please, if you owe any utility provider, if you own a business that owns, rather than wait for you to be embarrassed, your name come in, then you rather walk up to them and agree on a certain payment plan. You get my point? Because some of these people, they know how much they owe. But because it's been a trend for so long, they are very laid back about paying. So, I mean, if Brace, you're my friend, Benjamin is my friend, and I owe the two of you, but I know that as for Benjamin, if I don't pay him,
It'll disturb you.
if I have any money, my top priority is to pay Benjamin. Oh, as for Brace Day, when I have time, I'll pay him. And I think that has been the attitude of many of these companies towards paying utility providers, service providers. So please, if you owe ECG, if you owe Ghana Water Company Limited, I beg you, before you are brought, your name is mentioned in the news, just go and do the honorable thing. And those of you who are connected, I understand, look, there are genuine concerns. When Mr. Mahama, the ECG boss, came on the Super Morning Show, there were calls, and there are people who've waited for so long to get connected to the grid. And you can imagine in today's day and age, if you don't have power, if you run certain businesses, you need power. So ECG, while you're mobilizing revenue, please deal with those other issues, okay? When people need meters, let it be convenient, let it be easy for them to access it. When somebody has a meter fault, please fix it as soon as possible so the person is not tempted to do an illegal connection.
Dennis, we are now being told that people are buying illegal meters from other countries, and they are bypassing the ECG meter. So like they are using power, ECG is not able to read and to charge them. Yesterday, there was that operation in the Ashanti region where some people have been arrested. So, like you're saying, if you make the services so accessible to people and so easily accessible, I'm not sure people would cut corners. But like you're saying, people want meters, they have to struggle for months because they get it. It's a challenge.
And you know, when there's a demand, somebody will try to provide. So I mean, and I am not in any way, and we are not in any way justifying wrongdoing. But please, power is so essential. I know people who would pay through their teeth to get a generator and fuel it, not because it is the easiest thing for them to do. It is because they rely so much on power, they cannot afford not to have power.
So whilst the exercise is good, you're also looking at sustainability. Okay, so how do we ensure that those people who have owed all this while do not pile up again? That's also a system they have to look at. So that even though you are reclaiming those debt, you ensure that they don't pile up again. What are you going to do to ensure that that does not happen? That's something the ECG and the Ghana Water should also be thinking about. Whilst at it, like you said, they have to improve on their service delivery. Look, yesterday I saw a video on Facebook in Agona Nkwanta, and I felt it was so bad. This pole is almost falling off. And I heard a woman say, oh, we've told them. They said they will come. They haven't come several weeks. This one, I know a certain situation like that so many years ago, 3 or 4 years ago, in the same community, a pole was
it was rotten away.
Yes, it was just hanging. And we reported several weeks it was not being done. So you ask yourself, isn't ECG aware of these challenges? Because all of this is part of the service delivery.
Right.
That when you find a challenge, confronting the society, you have to attend to it with that dispatch that people will feel that, oh, these guys.
Sense of
you know,
urgency.
yeah, but when you allow, I mean, if I show you that video, you go like, why is the pole is all, is falling. He has leaned back, and that's a danger on its own. Like, it looks as though the ECG doesn't get. So if ECG is watching us, they have to ensure that these things are attended to. That you build confidence in the people with all of that.
There's a high tension pole close to my house, which every now and then would either start sparking, and would just give a loud, like an explosive sound, and then the sky turns blue, and they come and fix it, and the problem persists, and you just ask yourself, is it that we cannot solve the problem, or we don't know how to solve it, or we don't have the means to solve it? What exactly is the situation?
So this drive is good. I mean, especially when the DCE is home. I mean, in Ghana, we know that, once he's a DCE, you might want to say, this is a man of power. But they looked at him in the face and said, well, you're the DCE, but we don't care.
And
we'll take it off because you owe.
And the other thing for me is, this story is interesting because it was determined that the connection to the house was not done properly, officially, i.e. illegally.
Illegal. Yeah, so why should the DC allow search? Or he did it before?
It's actually the official. This is the official residence, though. So we need to. So it appears that it may have happened probably a long time ago. We need to get that side of the story clear. But
it shouldn't have happened in the first place. Because
of course,
you are like the president of the area, isn't it?
Of course.
And you have to show leadership. You cannot then do illegal connection to your official residence. No, that's the height of it all. And I mean, this is really, really shocking. The official residents of the DC, they had an illegal connection. Oh, no.
Unacceptable.
Yeah.
Unacceptable. So now they're moving from institutions, companies, they're coming into our homes. So please. And again, so this is especially for those who have done illegal connections and are on postpaid meters. Because usually, for those of us on prepaid,
Charlie, it is you buy, you go.
Yeah.
If you don't buy,
you sleep in darkness. So please, I beg you, we don't want to have you in the news. Just do what you have to do. So there are some other stories here, and this one interests me so much.
I hope you're going to choose what I'm thinking.
Which one? Joy FM to spend time with residents of Weja Leproserum this Easter. So that's an interesting one. So the Easter Soup Kitchen is heading to the Weja Leproserum, and we're going there to serve these people who are so marginalized by society. We're going to serve them. We're going to have fun with them. We're going to be with them. Which one interests you? The Sweet Mother?
Sweet Mother Hitmaker sold more copies than any of the Beatles. So why haven't you heard of him? Wow.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
But like they say, if the animal, they say the lion or what, does not tell its own story, the story will always glorify the hunter, isn't it?
Yes, sir.
So it means that if we don't tell our story, if he sold more copies than the Beatles.
And you see, this reminds me of the conversation about Ghanaian and Nigerian artists and what is putting Nigerian counterparts on the global scene more than the Ghanaian counterparts. Is it just a thing about skill? Is it just talent? Or is it a deliberate marketing strategy? Selling. That puts them on top. And you see, this song is timeless. This Sweet Mother song is timeless.
Sweet mother, I no go forget you. For that suffer where you suffer for me.
It's such a nice song, but that would be a very interesting read.
Yeah, really.
Sold more copies than any of the Beatles. Wow,
that's huge.
Huge.
Yeah. You see, so I say it's all about selling. See, this is your very nice yogurt you bring us here. I mean, if you don't let us know of it, who will know? I mean, so the thing is that you need to market your product. Are we marketing our people well? We need to rethink about how we sell our art.
And we must be ready to invest. I think that it's either we take things too casually, Okay, so it's like, oh, AIDS on your share. Oh, I mean, like if you sold copies, why do you even have to tell? And again, so it's like why people say, oh, why are Christians interested in quote unquote secular award schemes? But it's all marketing.
Yeah. Sure.
It's all marketing.
Sure.
Because if a Christian artist, for example, as we've seen quite recently, is Artist of the Year, then he has more eyeballs. Don't forget, his community or his target audience is very specific. And so there are many other people who will not hear his song. So I remember when Joe Metal was Artist of the Year and people were saying, who is he? We don't even know him. What song did he sing? It's because you may not fall within the target audience or the specific market he is selling to. And so once his work is recognized on that scale, somebody's like, okay, let me listen to this guy.
Exactly. Yeah.
So it's all marketing. So we must be deliberate about some of these things.
Yeah.
And I must say that I think that especially the current crop of gospel musicians are doing that. The deliberate attempt to move beyond the church. You know, and like I'm saying, you know, sometimes we think we are being modest. Oh, it's not, let me stay in my corner.
No.
Right? There is a need to put yourself out there.
Prince Igbo Mbaga stayed in his corner, and his record was not known out there, even though he sold more copies, allegedly, than
any of the Beatles.
Look, if you hear someone selling more copies than the Beatles were huge.
They are still huge.
Yeah.
Now.
So if you hear someone sold more copies than any of them, then that's a huge story you need to look at. Look, today, even when you see reels, and you hear a certain song on the reel, you sort of, what song is this? Let me go listen. It's all part of the marketing.
Yeah, it's all part of the marketing. Using TikTok, using video. There was this praise medley, a Pentecost praise medley that trended so well on TikTok, and people were using it to dance. And I was like, okay, you're getting somewhere. You know, you're getting somewhere. So. Well, Prince, I don't know if he's still alive though, is he? And how we can help. It's all marketing, guys. It's all marketing, and sometimes people are more interested in helping us do that than ourselves. You know, like how you see how people outside this country cherish authentic Ghanaian music and how Ghanaians sometimes don't seem interested. He's no more. He's passed. Well,
20 years after his death, this is the obituary that never was.
20 years.
Yeah.
Wow.
That's part of the article. So you probably have to have a read.
Yeah, do have a read.
The details of it. I mean,
all right. And okay, let's end with this one. Can we check Graphic Online? Let's just check Graphic Online. Let's do another website. Okay, so quickly run through. Don't pay hidden fees, charges on loans. Bank of Ghana advises, and that's a good one. Thank you, Bank of Ghana, for thinking about us. So there are people who go for loans, and it's not full disclosure.
Yeah.
So they sell the loan, you know, to you, the terms of payment, you are so excited. And then once you subscribe to the loan, then you are paying other things. The Bank of Ghana says, look, if you don't disclose it to the people before they subscribe to the loan or the financial package, it is null and void. So please, if you sign up to a loan and you are not informed about anything, please don't pay. You have backing from the Bank of Ghana. There's also that one, Zambia can't access.
But quickly, the reason why this is coming up is because some people are becoming vigilant. How much you're deducted every month. Do the calculation and see that are they taking more than they have.
Yeah, what we agreed.
So that's when you can realize that they are taking some monies from you that they are not supposed to.
Okay.
Then you chase them for it.
Yeah. So Zambia can't access $188 million IMF funds until creditors agree to help. Remember that story about the Chinese being told by the chief of the IMF to facilitate some of these debt restructuring programs for countries like Zambia, Ghana, and Ethiopia. But look, family of slain immigration officer demands justice, and this story just saddens me. It's so sad. It's so sad that somebody is being attacked, or a group of people in a vehicle are being attacked. And I mean, instinctively, the place to drive for safety is a police station, isn't it?
Yeah.
If you were going through anything or somebody was attacking you and you spotted a police station, that's the first place you go to because you know you'll be protected there. It appears that this didn't help this gentleman because we are told that while the attack was happening and his vehicle was being shot at, he drove to the police station.
Oh.
Once he got there, the people went close range and finished him off in the police station.
Well, yesterday
it
came out that there were 20 gunshots on the vehicle. You know, when 3 of them were just traveling to go get food.
So sorry to his family, and this must be a hard one. Well, we need to wrap up, but just before we do sports, this one will interest you. Ghana Black Stars dropped to 60th position in March FIFA World Rankings.
Well, look, I think we should not focus too much on it.
On the rankings, yeah.
Let's just concentrate on our team.
Yeah.
Let's build them. Let's give them the benefit of the doubt and support them in every way we can, you know, so that they can. Let's not focus too much on the ranking. But Bernice, this morning, a friend of mine, we call him First Samuel. He's the CEO of First Samuel Enterprise in Takrady. He loves the show, and so I would want to say good morning to him. Very fantastic young man. So, Uncle Sam, and all the best.
Thank you for watching the show. We appreciate it.
Yeah, so that's it. So I think that we shouldn't focus too much on the ranking. Yes, I mean at a point in time we were so good. Yeah. So let's build a team and
I know that it may be disappointing because we've seen quite an improvement in the performance of the Stars, but like you said, I mean, these are just rankings. Let's see how we move from here. And Chris Hutton took over the team.
Let's build a team.
Some
maybe we can get to where
weeks ago,
Morocco is. Yeah, someday. So let's focus.
Right, so before we bring you the sports, let me say thank you to Endpoint Homeopathic, Endpoint Homeopathic Clinic for helping us bring you the news and the headlines. We are offering free prostate screening and free female fertility screening. You can find Endpoint Homeopathic Clinic in Accra, Spintex opposite the Shell signboard in Kumasi, Chronom Aboyhia behind Angel Educational Complex in Takrady Anaji Estate, Tema Community 22, Techiman, Hensia, I hope I got it right, and Isiama in Nzima. You can call the clinic on 0244-867-7068 or 0274-234321. It's now time to bring you sports.